A lot of guys don't realize they've heard one of these phrases until they're already emotionally invested, or worse, attached. You meet a woman. She feels like a rare find. There's chemistry, banter, eye contact. She says something witty or self-aware and you think, wow, she's different. But here's the catch. Some of the phrases women say can quietly reveal a lot about their sexual past, especially when they've been with a lot of men. Underneath that polished delivery is a pattern. Women who've been through a lot in dating learn to communicate differently. They say things in a way that sounds normal, even harmless, but those words often carry more history than you realize. And if you're not trained to catch it, you'll miss what's right in front of you. Don't be the guy who figures it out too late. In today's video, we're breaking down 10 phrases women say when they've slept with a lot of men, and the final one sounds like a compliment, but it's actually a subtle confession in disguise. Before we get into that, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all our videos. 1. Let's just have fun and see what happens. At first glance, it's lighthearted. Who wouldn't want things to feel spontaneous and easy? But here's the truth. Women who've had repeated short-term relationships or hookups often learn to front-load the experience with this kind of framing. It sets the tone, it lowers expectations, and it creates emotional insulation. What she's really doing here is telling you, don't expect seriousness. I'm keeping it open-ended for a reason. She might not say why, but the reason is usually personal history. Maybe she's been hurt, maybe she's used to keeping things physical, or maybe she's just done this enough times to know that fun is safer than feelings. And notice the language. It's never, let's get to know each other and see where it goes. It's just fun. That word does a lot of heavy lifting. 2. I've outgrown the whole judgment thing. This is often said with pride, but it's also said with context. Because here's the reality. No one defends themselves from judgment unless they've felt it before. She's not bringing this up randomly. She's framing herself as someone who's owned her past because she knows it's not exactly the standard route. And depending on how early she says it, it can also serve as a warning. If you're the kind of guy who wants someone with a limited dating history, I'm not that girl. Of course she won't say it like that, but that's the subtext. Her past has shaped her values, and one of them now is avoiding shame at all costs. If this phrase is dropped before any mention of history or behavior, that's when you know it's been rehearsed. It's not defensive, it's strategic. 3. Guys get weird when I'm too honest. Let's dissect this. What kind of honesty makes men uncomfortable? It's not her Netflix preferences. It's not that she doesn't like football. It's usually something sexual or emotionally raw. When a woman says this, she's really trying to gauge your emotional stability. The truth is, she's probably been upfront about her past before, only to have a man flip into judgment or withdrawal. So now she's cautious, but still curious. This phrase is a feeler. It lets her see if you're the kind of guy who can handle her, and it gives her a clean exit if you react poorly. It also usually means she's been burned after opening up. So if you hear this, tread carefully. Don't interrogate, but don't ignore it either. Something personal is behind that line. Real quick, if you're watching this because you want to move smarter in life and with women, drop switched on in the comments. Let's see who's not just watching, but applying. 4. I've had my wild phase already. There's nothing wrong with phases, but this one carries weight. When a woman says she's had her wild phase, what she's telling you, without the explicit details, is that she's been in environments or patterns where sex was frequent, casual, or experimental. She might mention it to signal that she's past that stage, but most importantly, she wants you to know that it existed. It's her way of managing your expectations while subtly revealing that she's not naive. And here's something key. People who truly left a wild phase behind often don't feel the need to mention it. If she does, especially unprompted, it means she's still navigating how to frame that part of her story to others. That means it was significant, possibly even recent. 5. I don't do labels. They ruin everything. This is not a love philosophy thing. It's often a trauma avoidance mechanism. Labels create responsibility. They signal exclusivity, loyalty, accountability. So when a woman avoids them altogether, it's either because she's had so many failed relationships that she now distrusts the process, or because she's had success avoiding commitment altogether. In either case, you're dealing with someone who's experienced multiple dynamics, enough to decide that the emotional weight of defining something isn't worth it. And ironically, the phrase, they ruin everything, isn't based on theory. It's based on history. Be aware. This mindset usually doesn't shift quickly, no matter how well your connection goes. 6. Most men can't handle women like me. This is the conversational version of a loaded weapon. On one hand, it's a flex. On the other, it's a veiled admission. She knows her personality or her past has overwhelmed some men. She's warning you in advance. But she's also challenging you. Not overtly, but psychologically. Can you handle it? Or will you crack like the others? This line is frequently dropped by women who are very open about sex, experience, or power dynamics in relationships. If she's used to leading, used to experimenting, used to taking control, she's learned that many guys initially like the idea, but not the reality. So now she pre-screens them with this phrase. It's not just about handling her personality, it's about handling her story. And that usually includes quite a few chapters. 7. I connect with people really fast. This one has deep psychology behind it. On the surface, it sounds sweet, romantic even, but fast emotional connections are often a defense against vulnerability. The logic is, if I get close fast, I get the good feelings early. If it ends, I didn't waste time. For some women, this speed comes from repeated emotional or sexual bonds that were short-lived. Instead of drawing things out, they collapse the timeline. So when she says this, she's really giving you insight into her attachment behavior. She likely doesn't believe in long warming-up periods, because she's rarely had them. That speed of connection often matches a fast pace in physical intimacy too. And if that's a red flag for you, you need to read that line as a roadmap. 8. My friends say I'm too open. Now this one is gold, because it's framed as someone else's opinion, but she chooses to repeat it. That means she agrees, at least partly. It's a soft reveal. Too open rarely means oversharing about childhood. It means she's transparent about things most people would filter, like her dating life, her sexuality, her boundaries, or lack of them. It also means she's probably had situations where she shared things too early and regretted it later. The fact that her friends mention it tells you this isn't a one-off comment. It's a pattern. And again, that openness often correlates with having nothing to hide, because everything's already been shared before. It's less mystery, more exposure. 9. I've lived a lot of life already. This phrase is rarely literal. It's not about her age, job, or travels. It's about intensity of experience. What she's signaling is that she's been through things. Relationships, dramas, flings, maybe even darker stuff. It's a low-effort way to say, I've seen more than you probably realize. It's also a subtle cue that she may not react to things like a typical nice girl. Her reactions, her boundaries, her stories, they all come from a place of saturation. She's not exploring the world. She's reflecting on it. That's a beautiful thing if you value wisdom. But it can also mean she's had more emotional and physical experiences than you'd expect based on her vibe. Listen closely when she says this. It's often her most honest moment. 10. You don't seem like the jealous type. Sounds flattering, doesn't it? But this is usually a probe. She wants to know how you'll react to the idea of competition, or to the idea that she's been with, or could still be around, other men. She's testing your security. She's also setting the stage to feel safe being honest about her past without fearing your reaction. Sometimes this line is dropped right before she mentions a past hookup, a guy friend, or a party scene. She's building a frame. You're cool with this, right? If you bite and act nonchalant, she'll feel freer. But if you flinch, even subtly, she'll recalibrate. This phrase is always strategic. It's not praise. It's a setup. Up next, discover the reasons she touches your arm, or learn how to tell if she hasn't had sex in a long time. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.